All right. Well, welcome then, everyone. This will be the focus group for B214. We're in group 3. Should we introduce ourselves just for the sake of assignment?
Okay, so let's start doing like your name and your major, and like the year, like your junior, whatever. So I'm Katie. I'm a marketing major, and I'm a junior.
I'm Nick Yuka. I'm a business management major, and I'm a senior.
My name's Luke. I'm a CS major and I'm a senior.
My name's Jake. I'm a CS major and I'm also a senior.
Oh, I'm Dante, a CS major. Same as those two.
I'm Paul. I'm a junior and I'm a business and technology major.
I'm Antonia. I'm a pre-med BME and I'm a junior.
I'm Gabby. I'm a business technology major and I'm a junior.
I'm Joe. I'm a mechanical engineering major. I'm a junior.
I'm Esteban, music tech junior.
Eric, BME, junior.
All right. So as we all were sort of briefed before we began the recording, this is going to be a focus group mainly based around housing, whether that be Stevens housing, Stevens leased housing, or off-campus apartments, however you want to define it. So real quick, just so we have those sort of metrics, who here at any point during their career at Stevens has lived in a Stevens on-campus dorm?
Everyone except you. You did too. You did it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you commute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. SLH. Okay, and off-campus apartment, non-Stevens associated. Wait, where do you live now? Are you still SLH?
Yes.
I thought they kicked you out. But great. And is anyone an RA? Or have you been an RA at any point?
I've
The summer
worked for Res Life, if that counts.
That counts.
Summer doesn't count.
She said she worked for us.
Yeah, I was
That
an
counts.
office assistant.
All right. Just for some sort of look into that, based on the previous places you have lived or currently live, how have you felt about the amenities and the space, just compared between your experience then and experience now? Anyone can feel free to speak up.
Well, I mean, I liked moving out of Davis to Park just because, the upgrade in size was pretty huge. It's nice to not just have like a 15-foot cube for a room. And I mean, private bathroom's nice too. But I was alright either way. Obviously, an upgrade is always welcome, but I wouldn't say that the dorms are bad.
Anyone else or same thing?
Pretty much the same. I mean, I lived in Hayden when it was still up, so that was fun. We didn't exactly have AC units or anything before they knocked it down, so it was nice to kind of, bond with the people that were in Hayden, but, moving out and moving into Madison was, a godsend.
Okay. Next thing we have up on the list is, I remember there was a sort of controversy about students being forced to buy a meal plan, or something to that effect. I think it might have been last year or this current year coming in. So based on where you're living, how do you feel about not only convenience to where you can get your own food, but also the mandatory or not mandatory use of a meal plan or similar?
Well, I lived in River last year, and we were forced to have a meal plan. And speaking that I never used it really, it was really unfortunate because that's hundreds of dollars that were just wasted based off of where I lived. So I definitely say living off campus in an apartment with no meal plan is great.
And I just want to make sure that wasn't included in oh yeah, this is your dorm and cost and the meal plan's included. It's dorm costs and then meal plan's entirely
Yeah, it's
different.
completely separate.
Great. So okay, cool. So that's so now you're just mainly cooking or going out?
Yep.
Does anyone else sort of do that even with the meal plan or without?
My meal plan is with an Alpha Sigma fraternity house, so we have a chef that comes in and cooks for us, and if we don't order meals, we get our money back at the end of the semester.
Okay.
So it kind of
Okay. Good.
doesn't. If I forget to get some meals, it's not like Steven.
You recoup your losses essentially if you don't use your Alpha Sig usage. Cool.
Similar thing, I'm in Chi Phi, we get the chef too. Daily meals. It's nice.
That's pretty
the same thing.
Alright.
Yeah.
Good. I actually never knew that, so that's you learn something new every day. So this one I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be relatively simple. Convenience for classes, I'm assuming we'd all agree that dorms are theoretically the easiest for just getting to class, right? Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one. For social life and doing things, whether it be with friends or with on-campus groups, do you feel that it's easier when you're all, I don't want to say cooped up, but when you're on campus, or do you feel it's easier now when you're away from it?
Definitely on campus. If I'm off campus, there's a slight chance I'm coming back to campus.
Well, it doesn't even have to be anything on campus, like just going out with friends in Hoboken or in Weehawken or whatever. Do you feel that's just been easier here, or easier on campus or off, regardless of?
I didn't live on campus, so
Right.
I want to say
More,
off.
More planning.
Yeah, it definitely takes more planning, but like all of my friends and like our friend group lives in that neck of the woods over by Madison and Jefferson, so it's easy for everyone to like group up, I guess. But like, you know,
It's also nice to have like space in an apartment. You can't really get people in your dorm.
So you're better able to use the space you have for
Yeah.
social events,
Yeah.
as it were.
And I mean, 20-minute walk, not that bad.
I like living in the apartment for like that reason more because like you can be as like not I guess if your neighbors like depending on like how loud you are and stuff, but like your RA like you don't have to worry about an RA coming up and like telling you to like quiet down or like having too many people, like you get to make your own rules.
All right, cool. This one is also sort of on the same idea. When it comes to errands, like buying food, doing normal life things, easier here at Stevens or easier not at Stevens? And why?
SLH easily. I live in the corner apartment. I walk not even a block to get to ShopRite.
Yeah. It's a lot better.
All right, good to know.
That's just how it is.
Is that the group consensus as well? It's easier to do things when you're not living in your dorm?
Not that easy, but
Easier?
it's easier.
Okay,
Obviously.
easier. Okay. Question for RAs. We don't really have any specific. I know we have someone who works, but these are more related to dealing with like.
Being in order.
Yeah, so I think we'll just move on to the next question. This one, I think I know the answer, but because it's on the list, I'll ask. Current living situation, better or worse than on-campus housing? Or if it's SLH, better or worse than on-campus housing? If it's not SLH and you're just off-campus, better or worse than either SLH or on-campus housing?
Easily better. I mean, you don't have to bunk the beds. Hello? Like obviously like the size increase, but it's just easier all around. Like yes, there's 4 of us in the room, but there's 2 separate bathrooms that are full and whatnot. Like there's plenty of space for everyone.
Okay.
You don't feel all like on top of each other.
You bring up the bathrooms. Is that like a big increase in quality, jumping from a communal to a room?
I mean, yeah. Even though it is like 2 people per bathroom, it's not like we're back in Hayden again or back in Davis or wherever you were, where you had to go to the big communal bathroom at the end of the floor.
Same thoughts everywhere. Any other perspectives at all? Or
I
is
would
this
say it's
pretty-
mixed, just because I have a very bad experience with Stevens because they don't really do stuff. Like, we don't have Wi-Fi still. We didn't have AC, and they said, we're going to come. And then they were like, oh, now it's October. We don't need to fix it. I was like,
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I kind of hear more about the Wi-Fi.
oh, yeah, like, we still don't
that
have
seems
media.
more necessary for college.
No,
like AC's great, but like Wi-Fi is like lifeblood.
Well, like, we couldn't sleep for a couple weeks. It was like 90. And it was like,
Yeah, I felt that.
But,
Over the summer,
but the Wi-Fi, they just still don't have anything like it's the Skyline stuff. So you get your phone and your laptop and like any other devices you have, like you can't do it. And like it's not like essential, but I'm paying for it. It's
That sounds pretty
it's
essential.
in what I
and
paid
paying
for.
it,
Like
right? Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, that's definitely insight that we can bring up when we do our further questionnaires and other.
I guess like off campus is just I feel like it's way easier to get stuff done because there's much less administrative
overhead,
less bureaucracy involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that because I remember freshman year, if anything were to happen in our dorm, like it took forever for anyone to come to fix it.
Oh my god,
That
the
was such a
hot water
problem.
situation in Davis that freshman year, I will literally never forget waking up, and it didn't matter whether you got up like super early and took a shower at 7 a.m. or at like 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. or earlier, it was a roulette wheel. Like you literally did not know whether you getting hot water or not.
There's one shower that had hot water and all the girls would fight over it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We had one shower.
I had to like stand off to the side and like stick one body part in and then like the other one was freezing.
So have we all in some way been? I don't want to say touched, but had to deal with like a lack of some amenity we believe that should be given based on a lack of speed from Stevens administration
Yes.
or
The answer is yes.
I can't use the word.
Have any
But
of you like brought this up to any like either Res Life or like administration or anything? Like, have you brought it up or is everybody just like I know like I honestly just complained about it and didn't like say anything to anyone? Like, did anybody actually try to like make a change or like if you did,
do you feel like you were listened to?
I mean, like work order forms, but that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Like
Yeah.
when there were
And
bugs
they-
in the
half times
showers.
They didn't even like.
But and the work order form slow, fast.
Yeah, it was
slow.
slow. I mean, yeah.
No,
For some
go
things,
ahead.
you have to send like 4 work
Yeah,
orders.
you have to like get angry at them, and then like they would finally.
The strat
Do
was to
something.
call and get in their
Yeah.
face.
So, jumping off that, do we feel that like going out of our way to make complaints wouldn't have been listened to anyway, based on the fact that work order forms and other things weren't listened to in the first place? Do we also agree with that? It's like we didn't want to go out of our way to go to administration and make complaints because we felt like, given the normal situation, they wouldn't listen to us here. Why would
Yeah,
they
no.
listen to us
If you
we
if
made
you
outlet?
if you run up there, it's like running into a brick wall.
Most of the time, yeah.
I had my parents do it, and it actually got done pretty quick once they threatened to stop paying.
That always works, yeah.
Lawsuits.
That works.
Okay.
So that
That
was
works,
nice.
but that is such like an extreme for like
It's a lot
hot
of
water.
effort.
Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should be able to like go and take a nice hot shower and not have to worry about having like -2 degrees water.
Yeah, but like your issue is different from mine too. So there's like some
Well, yeah.
like
I just depends on the
context.
situation.
In case anyone is watching this and currently has issues with Stevens, threatening legal action might be your best option.
Like,
Okay.
There's a bunch of people asking for money back, and it got a response from the school pretty quickly.
They're in finances or legal action, and you'll get what you want.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. Okay. Next up on the list. If you had the opportunity to move off campus or stay on campus longer than you did, so let's start with move off campus, and you're living on campus, would you have taken it? Like if you were in a dorm now, and you were like, and they told you, hey, apartment, how quickly would you make that jump?
In less than 60 seconds.
That is
Before you could blink.
Is it Stevens leased housing, like apartment, or is it like regular apartment you go through like a realtor?
Let's
Also
say
depends what
it's dorm to either of the other options, dorm to SLH or off-campus apartment.
If I was in a dorm to Stevens leased, it would really depend. I feel like just because you're still stuck under the same
Fair enough.
people and supervision.
But if it was
But if it was like a plain apartment, I would be down in 2 seconds.
okay. That sort of jumps into the next idea I wanted to talk about. And we don't have to go into exact numbers. We can just say more or less or how we feel about it. About rent, or I guess it's not really rent if you're paying for dorming, but like what you pay to be housed.
Room and board.
Yeah, room and board. Thank you. So based on people jumping from leased housing to apartments or dorming to leased housing, has that been how expense wise been easier in a non-leased apartment or non-Stevens leased apartment, I should say, or been easier in the dorms? Like, do you feel like you're getting what you're paying for, regardless of where you are? Or do you feel as though different places give you different value?
I pay my room and board was twice as much as what I'm paying now at the house.
So you were not getting what you paid for.
Good deal now.
Okay,
Back where I'm at
I'm
now.
very glad you're happy now.
I'm paying the same amount.
Are you feeling like it's better where you are now, or
Much better. And then food wise, that money that was going towards my meal plan that I was forced to have, I can now buy my own groceries with it.
Okay, so do you feel like you're definitely getting a better deal out of the
Yes.
situation? where you
Even
are
though it's the same amount, it's definitely a better deal.
or at least housing friends.
Yeah, so SLH is like double what most of the on-campus dorms were, but you can choose your meal plan level, obviously. So if you choose nothing, you're saving like up to $3,000 there or something like that. So that helps. But it's definitely a lot better, and it's cheaper than going to the apartments yourself, at least from what I've seen. So for example, when we lived in Park, our apartment was listed at Park at $4,000 a month, but we only ended up paying like $13 a person, so it ended up being like $400 cheaper a month, something like that. We only had 3 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were 4.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed something there.
Yeah. So it's like,
Gotta get all the details right.
Yeah. So it's slightly cheaper, but like still,
Okay.
better.
But still better than you feel as though when you were in Davis. Okay. Is that the general consensus? I feeling like we're getting very ubiquitous here. That's fine. Not ubiquitous, unanimous here, but that's more than fine. Trends are trends. When it comes to making housing decisions, because this is going to be another large part of our final question, when it came to making decisions, was it price that factored in? Was it food that factored in? Was it what you were nearby, friends you were nearby? So essentially, what factored into your decision to change housing styles, whether that be from dorm to SLH or SLH to apartment or what have you?
Definitely, pricing was a big factor. Like, what I was paying equal to what I was getting back was like huge. contributing factor.
Definitely price and location, because right at the gates of campus, being on Frag Row is kind of good location for upperclassmen.
Short walk to Hoboken, short walk to campus makes sense. Is that the general consent? Were there any other like fringe factors that you guys picked where you want to live? Anything like that?
Location in Hoboken, just like I know that I didn't want to be really past Park or like Willow. Like, that was as far back as I wanted to go, and like that was a huge thing. But also, just like equal or less to the price I was paying, so that worked out.
Okay. And for you, part of it was meal plan as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything or just
Yeah.
just guys
Getting what
also?
you paid for.
I think before we made the choice to go all the way up to Madison, we had been to like some of the different SLH areas, and we wanted to get like, even if they were all in relatively the same ballpark price range, we wanted like the best bang for our buck, effectively. So we decided that Madison was just like the way to go in retrospect to like where we wanted to be, where our friends were, like location, like food stores and whatnot.
Yeah, I
stuff
remember you
like that.
mentioned you're
Yeah.
like 9 seconds away from ShopRite,
Exactly.
which did I assume also factored into your decision.
Definitely, yeah.
Works out. Awesome. So definitely throughout this focus group so far, we've all sort of had issues with Stevens housing and related services. So this next question is sort of related to how to fix it. I guess related to current things on campus and if they'll fix it. Do you think the new buildings, the 2 skyscrapers, I can't think of what they're actually going to be called, will help improve on issues you noticed while you lived in Stevens dorms, or do you think it's deeper than just a new building?
I feel like the issues that we had in the dorms was because they were old. Like, I remember, like, the showers, they got brand new ones when we left, like, sophomore year. But also, like, they had to they had to pull up all the carpets and replace the floor because it was rotted. And, like, that's why the hallways were new.
Okay.
So, it's just, I feel like it's an old building, and that was, like, one of the main problems. But I think the towers, like, they're going to be a lot nicer. And they're probably going to have, like, more technology built in, and, like, if they're, like, the floor plan, I feel like it's going to be, like, smarter, hopefully, for that, like, incoming freshmen or whoever's living in it. But, yeah, it's just
Okay. So you think it'll fix like some of the issues?
some of the issues that are, like, the problem of the place you're living.
related to buildings rather
Yeah.
than administration.
Yeah.
But with like the other things like work orders and other problems, you don't think this will be
No.
any help? You don't think it? Okay.
I feel like
if
it's
they
going to be
have-
more people.
Yeah, if they get new people, depends on the people I get.
Fair enough.
I think it's going to make it worse.
I'd love to
It's
hear
gonna
that.
add
I think
fuel
they're
to the fire.
addressing the symptoms of the problem and not actually fixing it. Like, it's great that there's going to be a new building, but stuff is going to break eventually. Like, there's only going to be more people now. Like, it's already understaffed and under-addressed. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
don't
need
see
to
it. I don't
have
see-
more people to fix things.
Yeah.
Or just better.
or
both.
prioritize it more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if there's less things to fix, also, like, it makes an easier time for the people that they have working. But if they need more people to fix things, they need
And
to
more
hire
things to
more
fix,
people.
right.
Yeah.
And the towers too, it's supposed to be like a lot taller, so I'm guessing there's gonna be like elevators in both of the buildings. If you're on like, I don't know how many floors there are, but like, say you're on like the 7th, 8th floor and like the elevator breaks and like
There's
You have
24, I think.
floors,
That was
21.
19 and
You're
Oh,
on,
19.
you're on the 20th floor and the elevator breaks and you have to go to class or you have to do your laundry, like we know our academic buildings, the elevators break down like all the time. Like McLean, I'm on like the Richard 5th floor, and like the elevator breaks all the time. Like I feel like if they're gonna be new, but then once they start breaking again, it's just gonna be another thing that they're not gonna fix.
The other thing that with the towers that I want to bring up is like what kind of issues they're creating for like everybody else though who's not living in them, because I already heard
Do
crazy
you
stuff
mean
like
right now or?
well, I mean right now, but also kind of like possibly in the future, because I know right now it's sort of like messing up the housing market in Hoboken a little bit. Like they're taking in all these freshmen and whatnot, and then they're displacing a bunch of people on campus. Like I had kids tell me that they were signed up for leased housing, and then they got moved to the waiting list after they were like good after putting their deposit down because of all the influx of new people and whatnot. So towers are like sort of working out, but it sort of also incentivizes incentivizes Stevens to continue like hopefully it fixes the problem with the dorms, and hopefully upperclassmen will get back on campus and SLH and everything will be sorted. But
It's also hard because the realtors don't want to rent apartments to students. So, like, it made it that much harder to find a place to live because people were like, oh, you're college students, your name's, like, either on the lease or it's not on the lease, like, then they, like, won't do it.
So all in all, we think fixes more problems than it solves, or creates more problems than it solves? I'm sorry. Solves more problems than it creates, or creates more problems than it solves?
Who thinks it's going to solve more problems than
Creates.
so it's 2?
And would that mean the other 7 of you think it's going to create more problems than it fixes? Okay. Well, actually, that's a really good lead into the next question we had, which was, if you're still, let's say, you all go to school here another year. I know some of you are graduating, but let's say you all go to school here another year. The towers are done, and you were given the option to live in the towers or where you are now. Do you think you would chance the towers, or is SLH for some of you, or fraternity housing that much better? You would even consider it.
I mean, if it's cheaper, yeah, probably no.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
So price is truly like your greatest consideration.
Yeah, I mean, if it's back to if it's half price again, and I don't have to get a $3,000 meal plan, then yeah. Or like if I have access to a kitchen, sure, why not?
I think
No.
for the fact that you'd still be under, like, after leaving the RA, like, situation and going back to it, even just simple things of, I can't have more than 3 other people in my room, like, I'm not going to want that again.
Fair enough. Okay, so freedom is a big. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a huge factor.
Very
just having
important.
like
Okay.
just no rules.
No. Okay. All right. Anarchy. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're sort of slowly reaching our mark here. We have a few questions left. So now looking back on it, knowing what you know now about Stevens dorms, Stevens leased housing, off-campus housing, knowing what you know now about housing, would you have outright made the same housing decisions you made your years so far? Like, if you were given the option, would you still have lived on campus at all? Would you have tried to find an apartment or tried to get anywhere else? Whether that be freshman year, sophomore year, junior year?
I actually had a lot of people freshman year that I knew that came in as freshmen and just bought an apartment in Hoboken and said they commuted. And I think knowing that now, I probably would have done that.
You would have done
Or if we were able to live in
So,
SLH.
would you have done that knowing what you know now about Davis having lived there?
I mean, if I was given the option to not, I probably wouldn't have lived in there. But, if they're still forcing freshmen to live on campus in dorms, then I think, yeah, I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't want to commute.
Well, I just meant knowing the loophole that...
Yeah,
Oh,
so like you just move into Hoboken and sign up as a commuter.
Yeah, if I could find a place.
Which is great too, because you get priority on classes.
oh my, that actually is the biggest
Okay,
one.
yeah,
Well,
that's a checkbox for me.
And a $15 parking pass for the year instead of $300 for the semester.
Hold on.
Wait.
What
I
if
pay
we
I'm there and I pay on pass.
If you're a resident in Hoboken,
Oh, resident.
you can
Okay,
get
I'm just saying.
Oh,
Okay.
that's like
that's
I
what-
thought you meant commuter, and I thought I was
No.
getting gypped for 4
Well, I
years.
mean,
All right.
Wait,
Well,
but the
Stevens
resident
is
thing
getting
doesn't your
sued,
name have to be on the apartment?
It's a bit iffy.
Well, you bought the apartment.
Stevens is
and
getting
one of my
sued.
brothers had. He
Stevens
changed
is
his
suing.
license.
I said your name would have to be on the
But
apartment
Hoboken is
and
like
the car in
countersuing
order
them.
to-
So
Yeah, there's a whole legal
There's
action.
other
Yeah.
things, but yeah.
It's a wonderful conversation, but not one that
Other
I don't
firsts.
think is necessarily in the scope of our focus group.
I also want to point out, like, freshman year is, like, such an experience. Like, being in a dorm is, like, part of the college
Yeah.
experience. So, like, personally, I would still be in a dorm just because, like, I don't know, like, I ended up, like, becoming friends with people who, like, I lived next door with and stuff. Like, it's just, like, all part of the whole, like, transition. Like, a lot of people don't have, like, a private bathroom in their dorm. Like, it's usually communal bathrooms. Like, that's one of the reasons why I even wanted to live in Davis, because I was like, I just want, like, the full experience. So I probably would have stayed with my decisions.
I would say that like freshmen like should have to like stay on campus. It's just like part of the experience.
It's college.
But I definitely would have moved off campus sophomore year
Sophomore year.
if I could have.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I just find it funny that after all the sort of complaints and issues, the consensus is they should have to stay there.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
It's
You're
part.
signing yourself
It's like
up.
a
The
punch.
suffering is like part of the experience, and because you suffer, you get like you bond with more people
Okay.
because of
It
it.
builds a sense of community. The
Yeah.
suffering, the collective
Okay.
suffering.
Yeah.
We're all related.
I
at
like
least
that
one
take
thing.
on it very much. Okay, that is a very interesting. I like that take quite a lot. I think we sort of went over this question, so I'm just going to skip over. Essentially, the question was, do you feel like you have viable options through Stevens when issues arise with housing? And I feel as though the answer from everyone is no.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone ever had any good experience with Res Life? Ever?
Yes. No, 5 days ago. Last Wednesday.
When your paycheck
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I walked in and my problem was solved in like 20 minutes, and it was great. The guy was super nice, but like other than that, not really.
Is this an outlier?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, buddy.
Once I got locked out of my room after taking a shower, and they made me walk all the way down to the Res Life office for somebody to open up my door, and I was in just a towel, and I was like, "Can someone just come up because like I am only in a towel?" And they were like, "No, you have to come downstairs." And I was like, "Okay." So like I just from that like I think Res Life sucks.
Actually, last year in River, we were taking the elevator up to our room. So we like you had like the card, so you swiped into the apartment, and the power went out. A transformer blew, so we could not get in and out of our apartment building because the power was out. There's no physical key, so like as
and
much
our
as like
RA wasn't there.
yeah, so we got stuck in the other apartment like across from us, and like they were nice and they were there, so like we were able to like hang out, but otherwise like we wouldn't even been able to swipe into River. Like, it was
So
ridiculous.
speaking of sense of community, thankfully you have
Yes.
one. But okay, so it seems the general consensus is negative. I can't say we didn't expect this coming in, but this definitely I think opens a lot of avenues for us to sort of augment our questionnaire when we finish it up and make sure that it covers areas ranging from sense of community. And what should happen based on what year you are and what living is best, or what factors are best or most important. So I think we're sort of running out of time here. I think it's almost been 25 minutes. So I think the last question, really easy, just a raise of hands. If you like Stevens housing better, if you like, let's just say on-campus housing, not frat or not included, better than where you are now. Flip the question. So like, is on-campus housing worse?
Yeah.
Is that just everyone saying it? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your time. We realized this was sort of to put a burden on you. I realized 20 minutes out of everyone's day is annoying.
Yes, we appreciate
But thank
it.
you so much for it. So if we could just end the recording, and we'll call it a night.
I think this is the